Toxicity Unveiled, the path to healthy love. Welcome back, everyone. And welcome to Under Construction. It's time to dive deep into the world of relationships and love. I'm thrilled to have you here for today's thought-provoking and enlightening video. Today, we're going on a journey. A journey that will shake the foundations of what we think we know about relationships. It's time to unveil the toxicity that lurks beneath the surface and discover the path to a love that is truly healthy and fulfilling. Have you ever found yourself trapped in a cycle of toxic habits? Perhaps you've witnessed these patterns in your own relationships or even normalized them without realizing the harm they cause. Well, my friends, it's time to break free from these chains and embrace a brighter future. In this video, we're going to shed light on the dark corners of toxic relationships. We'll uncover the red flags, the warning signs that often go unnoticed. But fear not, for this isn't a journey of despair. It's a journey of empowerment, growth, and transformation. I've spent years researching and studying the intricacies of relationships, and I'm here to share my insights with you. Together, we'll navigate the stormy waters of toxicity and emerge on the other side, where love thrives and hearts are nourished. Whether you're currently in a toxic relationship, have experienced one in the past, or simply want to gain a deeper understanding of healthy love, this video is for you. It's time to rewrite the rules, challenge the norms, and create a new paradigm for our relationships. Are you ready to embark on this transformative journey? Are you ready to unveil the toxicity and discover the path to healthy love? If so, buckle up and get ready, because we're about to embark on an adventure that will change your perspective and lead you to a love that is authentic, nourishing, and extraordinary. Let's dive in. High school doesn't offer a course on how to behave properly with a boyfriend or girlfriend. Sure, we learn about the biology of sex, the legal ramifications of marriage, and perhaps we read a few esoteric love tales from the 19th century that teach us how to behave properly. By the lack of clear concepts of adults, we're simply left to trial and error, and if you're like most people, it ends up being mostly wrong. A series of toxic connections begins to rise as we stumble through the already complex dating landscape. One of the issues is that many harmful relationship practices are ingrained in our culture. We revere romantic love, the crazy sort that finds it endearing when its lover sobs uncontrollably and breaks porcelain plates on the wall. And we scoff at practicality or unconventional sexualities. Both men and women are pushed to objectify one another in their romantic relationships. As a result, we frequently view our lovers as accomplishments or trophies rather than as people with whom we can share emotional support. Mom and dad were clearly not perfect role models for the vast majority of us. What is a toxic relationship? Many of us start the dating arena unaware that many of our preconceived assumptions about relationships are detrimental. So, first and foremost, let us define a harmful connection. When one or both people prioritize love over the three essential components of a good relationship, respect, trust, and affection, the relationship becomes toxic. Love shouldn't be the driving force behind maintaining a relationship because it can impair our judgment in these other crucial areas, which may seem insane to some people. If you place more significance on the affection you receive from a lover than with the respect you receive, you will be treated like a doormat. You will put up with lying and cheating in a relationship if love takes precedence over trust. If you choose love over affection, you will have to put up with a chilly and distant existence in the relationship. We tolerate toxic relationships for a variety of reasons, including low self-esteem, a lack of self-awareness that hinders us from seeing what's going on, emotional instability, and other factors. But all that happens is a superficial, sometimes abusive, and mentally unhealthy connection. There are 6 toxic relationship warning signs that you may not notice. Toxic relationships can manifest itself in a variety of ways, but I've discovered a number of telltale symptoms of toxic relationships that many people either overlook or, worse, mistake for signs of a healthy relationship. Following are 6 of the most prevalent relationship traits that, despite what many couples believe to be healthy and normal, are actually toxic behaviors that endanger your values. The path to healthy love. Number 1. The Relationship Scorecard. What exactly is it? When someone you're dating continues to blame you for prior mistakes, you're experiencing the keeping score phenomena. If both lovers in the relationship act in this way, the relationship turns into what I refer to as the relationship scorecard, where each lover competes to see who has messed up the most over the course of the relationship's months or years, and as a result, who owes the other the most. Imagine a couple who are in a poor relationship fighting in the shadows. You were a jerk at Cynthia's 28th birthday party in 2010, and it has ruined your life ever since. Why? Because you are constantly reminded of it every week. But that's okay, since catching your girlfriend texting seductive text messages to a coworker means you can get back at her for her alleged adultery, so it's kind of equal, right? Wrong. Reasons why it is toxic. The Relationship Scorecard is an absolute shambles on two fronts. You're not only ignoring the current issue by dwelling on past wrongs, but you're also instilling guilt and bitterness from the past in order to manipulate your lover into feeling horrible in the present. If this continues long enough, instead than addressing the root causes of the current problem, both lovers eventually devote the majority of their time attempting to establish which of them is less responsible than the other. Instead of attempting to be more correct for one another, people spend their entire day attempting to be less incorrect for one another. Instead, try the following. If the two problems aren't actually related, deal with them separately. If someone consistently cheats, this is clearly a recurring issue. However, there is no connection between the fact that she made you feel uncomfortable in 2010 and the fact that she became depressed and disregarded you today, so don't bring it up. It is critical to remember that when you choose to be with your lover, you are also choosing to remain with all of their previous actions and habits. If you do not accept those, you are eventually rejecting your relationship. You ought to have taken care of something a year ago if it upsets you so much at the time. The path to healthy love number 2. Sending out hints and other form of passive aggression. What exactly is it? Instead of addressing something directly and out loud, a lover attempts to nudge the other in the direction of figuring it out. Instead of articulating what's really bothering you, you find minor and insignificant ways to irritate your lover so you can feel justified in complaining to them. Reasons it's toxic. Because it demonstrates that you two do not feel comfortable exchanging straightforward information. If someone feels comfortable expressing their anger or uncertainty within a relationship, there is no need for them to be passive-aggressive. If a person believes they will not be judged or criticized for being honest, they will never feel the need to leave hints. Instead, try the following. Clearly express your thoughts and aspirations. Make it obvious that the other person is not necessarily responsible or compelled to your feelings, but that you would appreciate their support. If they care about you, they will nearly always be able to provide that assistance. The path to healthy love number 3. Keeps the relationship hostage. What exactly is it? When one lover has a basic critique or complaint and blackmails the other lover by jeopardizing the relationship's overall commitment. For instance, if someone feels like you've been cold to them, they won't remark, "I feel like you're being cold sometimes," but rather, "I can't date someone who is cold to me all of the time." Why is it toxic? Holding the relationship hostage amounts to emotional blackmail and adds extra drama to the situation. A perceived commitment crisis is brought on by even the slightest blip in the relationship's progress. It is critical for both lovers in a relationship to understand that negative ideas and feelings can be addressed safely without jeopardizing the relationship's future. A couple will repress their genuine thoughts and feelings if they are not given the freedom to be honest, which will result in an atmosphere of manipulation and distrust. What to do instead? It's okay to be upset with your lover or to dislike something about them. That's what it is to be a regular human being. However, keep in mind that committing to someone and always enjoying them are not the same thing. Despite not liking everything about someone, you can still be committed to them. Even if you have a lifetime commitment to someone, you may occasionally find yourself annoyed or angry with them. On the contrary, two lovers who can communicate feedback and criticism without judgment or blackmail will deepen their long-term commitment to one another. The path to healthy love number 4. Accusing your lover of your own emotions. What exactly is it? Consider a scenario in which you are having a bad day and your lover isn't exactly sympathizing with or encouraging you about it. Perhaps they have been on the phone all day with coworkers, or they became preoccupied when you hugged them. Even if you both want to stay in and watch a movie at home tonight, your lover has plans to go out and see friends. You find yourself snapping at your lover for being so inconsiderate and cruel to you as your aggravation with your day, and their response to it, increases. You may not have requested emotional help, but your lover should instinctively know how to make you feel better. Based on your terrible emotional state, they ought to have ended their call and canceled their arrangements. Reasons why it is toxic. Blaming our lovers for our sentiments is a classic example of failing to respect our own limits, as well as being self-centered. Setting the example that your lover is always accountable for your feelings, and vice versa, can quickly result in a codependent relationship. Everything, even reading a book or watching television, must be bargained. All selfish ambitions are put aside when someone starts to feel unhappy because you now have to help the other person feel better. The most serious issue with codependent behaviors is that they breed animosity. Yes, it is understandable if my girlfriend snaps at me from time to time because she has had a rough day, is frustrated, and requires attention. But if she starts to think that my entire existence revolves around her mental health, I'm going to start acting extremely resentfully and even manipulatively toward her needs and wants. What to do instead? You should be in charge of your own emotions, and you should also expect your lover to be in charge of theirs. There is a subtle but substantial difference between being a lover's supporter and being obligated to a lover. Any sacrifices made should be done voluntarily rather than because they are required. When both lovers in a relationship are considered responsible for one another's mood swings and low points, they both are encouraged to conceal their actual emotions and manipulate one another. The path to healthy love number 5. Jealousy of the loving type. What exactly is it? Getting enraged when your lover speaks, touches, calls, texts, hang out, or sneezes in the general vicinity of another person, and then taking that rage out on your lover and attempting to control their conduct. This frequently leads to extreme activities such as hacking into your lover's email account, reading their text messages while they're in the shower, or even stalking them around town and unexpectedly turning up. Reasons why it is toxic. It surprises me that some people see this as some type of affectionate gesture because they mistakenly believe that if their lover isn't jealous, they don't love them enough. This is completely out of control. It's essentially just domineering and manipulative, not being loved enough. And it causes unnecessary drama and strife by sending the impression that you don't trust the other person. The most awful of all, it's humiliating. If my girlfriend is uncomfortable with me being around other attractive women by myself, it signals that she believes I'm either A, a liar, or B, incapable of controlling my urges. In either case, that is not a woman I want to be with. What to do instead? Trust your lover completely. I know it's a radical notion because envy is a normal emotion. Extreme jealousy and controlling tendencies, on the other hand, are signs of your own deficiencies. You should learn to deal with these feelings rather than projecting them onto those who are important to you. You will simply alienate your lover if you don't address your jealousy. The path to healthy love number 6. Buying the solutions to relationship problems. What exactly is it? When a serious disagreement or issue arises in a relationship, instead of resolving it, you distract yourself with the excitement and positive feelings that come with purchasing something nice or traveling somewhere. Or something far worse, like getting married. My parents were experts in this area. They ended up getting a big fat divorce and haven't spoken to each other much in the intervening 15 years, but it worked. Since then, they've both revealed to me on their own that this was the fundamental difficulty in their marriage, that they were continually covering their true troubles with petty pleasures. Reasons why it is toxic. Not only does buying things sweep the true issue under the rug, where it will inevitably resurface, worse the next time, but it also establishes an unhealthy precedent within the relationship. Despite the fact that this is not a gender-specific issue, I will use the traditional gendered scenario as an illustration. Imagine that a man always fixes a woman's problem by giving her a present or taking her out to a fancy restaurant every time she is upset with her boyfriend or husband. This not only provides the woman with an unconscious motive to continue finding reasons to be angry with the man, but it also provides the male with zero motivation to take responsibility for the issues in the relationship. What is the end result of all of this? A lover who is checked out and feels like an ATM, and a perpetually resentful woman who feels ignored. What to do instead? Take care of the problem. Was trust betrayed? Describe the steps necessary to reconstruct it. Is someone feeling unappreciated or ignored? Discuss strategies for regaining those feelings of appreciation. Communicate. There's nothing wrong with doing pleasant things for your lover after a disagreement to express unity, regret, or to reaffirm your devotion. However, one should never utilize presents or expensive items as a substitute for addressing the underlying emotional problems. Gifts and vacations are referred to as luxuries for a reason, since you can only fully appreciate them when everything else is going well. If you try to hide your issues behind them, you'll eventually run into much more serious issues. How to transform a toxic relationship into a healthy relationship. Keep in mind that in a toxic relationship, love takes precedence over all other factors, including mutual respect, trust, and affection. It's not just a rough patch, rather, there is a pattern of negative behavior on one or both sides that is ongoing and persistent. So how may these habits be changed into a relationship? Now, it's not simple to transition from a poisonous relationship with a good one. I'll be honest and state that the vast majority of people will not be able to do it. However, there is a chance that things will get better. You've got your job cut out for you, but if you can perform the following 3 things, you'll have a fighting chance. Number 1. Both lovers are open to new experiences. It should go without saying, but if one of you isn't committed to improving the relationship, then that is your answer. On the other hand, if both of you have expressed a genuine willingness to address issues, you may proceed. Number 2. Both lovers are aware of the lack of affection, trust, and respect and are willing to fix it. Even if you both want things to improve, you still need to acknowledge that there is a problem and come to an understanding on what needs to be repaired. This is more difficult than it appears. Because they do not feel trustworthy, one lover may conclude that something needs to be improved. The other lover, on the other hand, does not trust the relationship because there is no affection. Or one lover may not be completely honest about the problem. For example, they don't want to be the one who says they don't trust the other person. You must be clear and honest about what is causing the relationship to remain poisonous, whatever it may be. Number 3. Both lovers are able to communicate effectively without imposing unfair blame or judgment. It will not work if one or both of you are attempting to place blame on the other person, even if you are both willing to work on the matter and agree on what the real problem is. It doesn't matter who is to blame if the goal is to progress the relationship in a positive direction. This suggests that both lovers must prioritize the connection over their own egos or the desire to win. Again, repairing a toxic relationship is not a simple undertaking, but neither are most good endeavors in life. If you both want to work on it, it will be worth the effort, the difficult conversations, and yes, even the suffering. You may decide to quit the relationship at some point, and that's good. As you work to build a better, greater version of yourself, be obsessed with your own potential. Make certain that the impression you leave on others is positivity, gratitude, and self-belief. Do you want to have a happier, healthier marriage or relationship? Do you want to become the greatest version of yourself? By subscribing to the channel and pressing the notification bell, you can be the first to know when I publish a new video. Please click the like button and share with friends and family. Thank you for taking the time to watch Under Construction.